There we go. Leaves, leaves, leaves. You can certainly tell what time of year it is, but I have to tell you though, we have had an absolute beautiful fall season. The foliage has been spectacular. With all the leaves coming down though, what happens to your yard is that you, what they call, reveal the bones of your landscaping. And that picture will stay the same unless we have a snowfall all the way through to May when the leaves come up again. So I want to talk today about a particularly important part of a winter garden landscaping, and that is the use of evergreens. We're going to sort things out and give you some tips to choose the right plant for your yard. Well, this is of course not what we want with an evergreen. It is though a blue spruce, and I thought we'd put it in because it's important to tell of a disease that is causing blue spruces all kinds of trouble, and this is the spruce needle cast. It's a fungal disease, and typically it spreads from a bottom up. Every time there's a rain, the spores jump to the next level, and it causes the needles to go brown and drop off. So blue spruces, which used to be a big part of our landscape here in northeast Pennsylvania, aren't recommended. Now, if you look at some of the close-ups of our little dwarf special ones, they give you an idea of how beautiful blue spruces are. And the dwarf varieties, either the prostrate variety or the globular ones, tend not to get the disease so much. But if you look around your neighborhoods, this is typically what you're seeing. And not just in spruces, it can actually move to other evergreens as well. All right, on a happier note, right next to me here is something I would highly recommend. Well, the first one I want to look at is something really quite extraordinary. It is Sciadopitys verticillata, and the nice name is a Japanese umbrella pine. It is a very interesting plant. Let me just get in close. Very few diseases. It just seems to grow nicely and forms a beautiful Christmas tree shape. And you can see why. I just nipped off a little bit of the needles. You can see why it's called an umbrella pine. And the needles are incredibly thick, and it keeps a beautiful color. And this one I planted as a little 1.5-foot kind of seedling, and it's done remarkably well. Next door to it though, I've got something that we're gradually working on taking out. It is a Japanese spruce, and it's too close. We want this to be the specimen. That's a good point. So when you come to choose and plant your ones, just make sure they have enough room to do what they need to do, which is to grow, get plenty of sunshine around them. All right, on with our next recommendation. Well, this little chap, well, it's not little anymore. He's up there 20 feet or so. This is an eastern red cedar. It's the native one. It is actually native to this area as well. You see them all over the place. Often see seedlings coming up. This one is called Emerald Sentinel though. It's got a slightly selection that has a darker green leaf. And if you want a plant that's probably the best for wildlife, especially birds, this is one of them. It has nesting abilities, it has food abilities. It's just an extraordinarily good plant. The only downside, it is a juniper and it may carry cedar apple rust, so you've got to watch that. Could be a problem with fruit trees, apple trees in particular. Behind it though is something also big. And you don't think of a weeping juniper being quite as big as this, but that's a rigider juniper, becoming a little bit more difficult to find. But as you can see, it wants to go up and up and up. And again, it gives a different texture to the landscape. That weeping effect with a little bit of snow on looks really nice in the winter landscape. And I'm looking here at the garden center down there, and the evergreens can make a nice frame. So if you've got a window you particularly look after it, it might be nice to have an evergreen just on one side, just a frame, and keep some color there in the gray months. Well, my next example, just over my shoulder here, is, well, it was a kind of a rescue plant. It's a little bit misshapen on the bottom, but above you can see it is actually a wonderful evergreen tree. It is a weeping Alaskan cedar, Chamaecyparis nutocanensis. It has this little foliage that falls down, but it forms that lovely layered Christmas tree effect. Now, right behind it and right up in the air is a recommended screening plant, but you can see in its mature state, it's up there 60 feet plus. So be careful where you plant this. In fact, I brought a little example down with me just to show you. This is a Norway spruce. Probably the most disease-free, easy to grow evergreen. It isn't native, and that's, but if you need to block something out, sometimes you have to be a bit exotic. But as I say, bear in mind that this little tree, which may be a 4-year-old little seedling, will turn into an 80, 90-foot tree later on. If you plant a single one by your home, you're risking it a bit because if the root system doesn't develop well, that tree can come down. Spruces we like to block in the periphery, the Norway spruces. And if you can cluster them together, one of their secrets of surviving high wind situations is to entangle their roots together. So let the roots grow together and it locks to one big plant, and that tends to stop them blowing over. Though the ones on the edge can be a little bit vulnerable. So there you go, a recommended large evergreen for screening, the Norway spruce. All right, when we come back, we're going to be looking at some of the smaller evergreens.